I was planting the zucchinis.
Zucchini is good.
Oh, love the
I
hat
hope
for
you
this.
finish. Thank you. Girl, I had to run back and take a shower. I was like, ooh, I was strong.
Well, that would be me. I smell just as bad as that garlic.
Oh, that's
that I
right. You
emptied
did.
out.
Oh, jeez, that was horrible.
I'll just ask you guys questions.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
Okay. So what is your names and what is your relationship to the Oval?
My name is Lorita Watson, and part of Friends of Mosholu Parkland. And my relationship to the Oval is it's my backyard. I'm an advocate for parks in general, a particular advocate for this one. I can literally hear all the noise from this park, which is usually good noise, fun noise, kids having fun and the like and enjoying life. It's a beautiful park, it's a unique park, and yeah, it's my backyard.
And Friends of Williamsbridge Oval is now part of Friends of Missoula Parkway.
Right. It's pretty much we've adopted it because I guess about 10 years ago, it's Friends of the Oval had a few revivals. I think the first one when they were fighting Eileen Markey, who's still in the area, had the first rendition of it, and then it went defunct. And then myself and Elizabeth Bono had the second rendition of it, and we sort of stepped away. And then there was recently a third rendition of it the last 3 years, and pretty much that went defunct. So basically, I had then, I guess maybe 5 years ago or 6. Well, they've been 9 years with you. So
Yeah.
did Friends of Mosholu Parkland. So, and I was, straddling both organizations, and I basically ended up with FOMP, Friends of Mosholu Parkland. We call FOMP really, because now that probably makes more sense because we're not just the parkland. We're this park and PS 8 and Whaling and a few different parks, Prince Charlie soon to be, and the rest. So I think that's more descriptive of us as a park advocate group in the area. So
It's
I
a
guess down at 6
collection
parks.
of parks.
Yep. So
And what's your name? And
My name is Elizabeth Quaranta. I'm the executive director of Friends of Mosholu Parkland. As Lorita said, my connection to the Oval is actually Lorita. It's her backyard. I met Lorita, who is our director of education for with the Friends group. Through the Oval, we met at a committee meeting, and the Oval is it's been a playground that has its very colorful history. And so we took it, the Friends of Mosholu took it under our wing because it had a couple of other groups that try to maintain it, other advocacy, but life is really busy in this area and not everyone, we're all volunteers. So not everyone can commit the amount of hours that we have been committing to, so that's why Friends of Mosholu Parkland ended up taking a few of the playgrounds in the area so that we can have equal services in all of the playgrounds. Not all of our playgrounds have the equal attention through parks and recreation.
And what role do these community groups play for parks and such as the Oval and other parks?
We have strong voices. We have good resources. This is Miss Resourceful over here, by the way.
we have eyes and ears. I think we can we raise issues to the forefront that are most concerned to the community. It's the bottom up perspective, not necessarily the administration asking, dictating to us. So it's a bottom up thing. Like we can say ask for certain things to be prioritized. My big issue coming to the park, and I think like now it's a joy to come out here. It's a Saturdays 2:00. It's clean. When I first came out here, that was not the case. We didn't I didn't think that as a community we were getting the level of service or attention, say, you get in a Central Park. Um, I, it wasn't happening. So now you could come out here. It's clean. It's a lot more attention. The grass is cut. We have advocated and got like wonderful gardeners to go through here and walk and see garden after garden, and attention paid to it is wonderful. So that's what we do. Safe playgrounds, and if there's an issue, we say, for instance, we could ask for them to come out and spray and water and clean out, really give a deep cleaning to a particular area or something. So that way. And we even advocate for groups to come and do programming. So yeah, I think we raise certain issues up front as a community group, as a friends group.
Well, usually administration, they don't live in the area, so it's very rare you'll find someone in the agency that lives here, and if they do, it's only temp until they move out. We've been here over 10 years, 20 years, so local groups are the voices of where they live. So we have to speak out because it is our living room.
We're the first one to notice the changes, and
Yeah.
it good or bad. And it's, so like if it's good, great, we love it, thank you. And if it's bad, no, we like it like before,
Watch out, because then we start barking.
Yeah, because it gets away from you if you just keep letting it go.
And what are some of the challenges that you face? There's a funding challenge. You have litter. I mean, there's a
Funding, consistency of membership, that kind of thing. Said people are busy. It's in and out. So communication is a big thing. Certain times you have to tag team each other. It's like, I don't have the attention to pay to this right now, because life gets in the way, and so have someone else, take over. So we don't have particular roles, even so we do say we do. We tag team each other plenty, and there's a good core group of people that we tag team. Funding is an issue, as always. Money is always an issue. Like I said, the skate park took 10 years, and part of that was funding. About time we got the skate park for the kids that were, like Doug advocated for originally. They're a new set of kids. They have kids, so that's where we are. So, but this place is what, I think 26 acres. It's a huge park, so it's piece by piece. So that things happen. So once one piece get done, obviously another piece may get disarrayed. You fixing that one up, and you advocating for another piece of the park. It's well used. That's one of the things. I think parks in general is well used. They don't get their fair share of funding in the city at all.
in the city budget.
In their budget, in the city budget, they don't get their fair share, since this is voluntary, unlike school where it's mandatory, or some other spaces are mandatory. People voluntarily come here, of all ages and sizes, and it's, at all times. If you didn't close it at 10, they'll still probably be in here. But that's the big issue. It's well used, and it definitely needs more funding.
Well, I believe like the New Yorkers for parks at 1% mandate they're asking for.
Right.
I
Yeah.
totally
Right.
believe
I was part of the Play Fair thing and all that, and we have Bronx Speak Up regularly, and we advocated for gardeners and just certain things that public spaces need. And we always see, especially when you go down in well-funded parks and see things that they have, and it's not just the space, the programming is a big part of it as well. Like what goes on in a park, it really matters.
Besides funding, one of our big challenges is also the mission of agency and groups. Whereas groups have a long-term vision of how the community is going, the mission dictates the operations as well. So there have been plenty of times where it's a tug of war between the agency and groups. The agency want things done at a certain way. They're operational. The way that they do their procedures is not in line with our goals for the
Agency being
community.
New York
So
City
in
Parks
terms of
Department? You talk about agency, you mean the New York City
so
Parks
like Parks and
Department?
Recreation, there, where there's a back and forth with how they mow the lawn, how they do the weed whacking, a lot of procedure that affects that affects our everyday.
Yeah, I guess that's what, like, I mean, like that relationship between.
So the relationship between the two, we don't necessarily see eye to eye when it comes to how the parkland land is kept and how the playground is kept. Their long-term view is a bit different when it comes to operations.
And if they did a lot of the operations right, we could probably avoid
Wouldn't have a lot of issues.
a lot of costly down the road capital issues even.
Yeah.
If maintenance is a big part of it. It's like you don't want to have to keep paying for something to keep getting fixed.
Why do you think it's important to be a steward for a place like the Oval?
Because it's our playground and our parks, and we don't want to keep moving.
Yeah.
They always say the grass is greener on the other side. No, it ain't. It's greener because you water it, and I mean that literally. It's greener because you take care of it. If you see litter, litter attracts litter. You see litter, and if you have something in your hand, even though you have a little voice in your head that says you shouldn't do it, but you still do. Litter attracts litter, so it's really important that stewards come out and be the example for others to follow. People do follow each other, by the way.
They think, people need to know that you care, and they do care. You're like, oh.
That's why it's important to steward, because we don't want communities to be transient. We want communities to have families for a long time.
Yeah. And even the people who do hang out and they end up taking care of a particular area, a particular spot. All of a sudden, like, they have their own garbage bags and this and that, and they take ownership. And that's fine. That's all we're asking people to do is take ownership. It's your community.
Yeah. And what kind of events do you guys do? You have it? Right now, I know COVID changed a lot of stuff, but are there like community events? You have cleanups? Do you have it's
We have
park days?
cleanups. We work with NPC, nonprofit piece. We were able to have a yoga session or two on the Parkway, which would be great. Miami Ferry had, I think, once a month. The recreation center also do events. But they do it out front. Yeah. So they's out in the open. There's art, there's exercise, there's pickleball and the tennis court for the seniors. A lot of the stuff that we did inside, we do outside. They even bring out the spin bikes. So the recreational center is operational. They just move it outside. Sunday, again, we do have yoga. There's someone who comes right here on Overlook and does yoga every Sunday. Oh my gosh, and people have, we have said this is the Buccaneers home team, is our home football team, and they're pretty much starting from scratch, saying since COVID, so many of their players, families and stuff moved away, which is interesting. So they have a whole new set of people that they're building their new team. Soccer, volleyball, regular volleyball, South American volleyball, soccer, both, because the ball's a little smaller. Our dog run. How is that I didn't forget? Because maybe no dogs are out here. We have a beautiful new dog run for big and little dogs. And that's odd. They have, I just realized are they doing a dog party? There are balloons around the dog run? It just hit me. Okay.
Dog party.
Okay. Dog park. Yeah. Okay.
I read that book to my kid. Having a dog party.
Dog park. Okay.
One of the nice things about the Oval is that it's big enough where people actually have their own little, their own small events.
Well, yeah, and if you look, this is the upper level. It's 2 levels.
Yeah.
Which is, unheard of. So when it gets really crazy crowded downstairs, I usually, after work, I would walk around the circle upstairs. Yeah. So, because in the evenings, it can get really crowded. So it's pretty cool. But you can see a little bit of everything.
what role do parks like the Oval play in the community, and why are they important?
It's his cool bike was going by, so
That's
I didn't
okay.
hear you.
All right.
That's what I'm saying, a Harley, right? Ooh,
I learned about the hog.
a Harley, yeah, for
Uh,
sure. Ooh. That's a lot of
repeat that again?
noise.
What role do parks like the Oval play in a community, and why are they important?
Oh.
What role do parks?
Like the Oval play? It's a social scene for a lot of folks.
They're the ones that
healthy.
provide the rules and regulations, and we do have to follow those. Thank goodness.
Uh-huh. No, I mean not the Parks Department, but like
The
parks.
role, the Oval. What role does the Oval play?
Yeah, or parks like the Oval.
Okay.
Why are
I
parks
think, I think
important?
it's everything. It's a social scene. First thing I'm gonna think during the day.
It's an escape from the
Escape
apartment.
That's for
This
sure.
is mostly an apartment community. We do have quaint little homes,
With
but they
backyards.
keep getting torn down. We have a huge housing, exponential growth. So you have a lot of apartments that get smaller and smaller. So the Oval really provides that I've had it, I got to get out feel, and everything is here. Your neighbors are out here.
It's weird. Some people start their day and end their day. You start your day for a walk before you go to work, and you end your day for a walk before you go to bed. So that's pretty much in between. People take their kids, come out and meet a friend. I'll meet somebody for tennis or something, or meet up just for a talk to sit on the bench. I mean, it's pretty much it. And I do live in a small apartment. I stay in the park. You could,
Especially when it's hot.
hot, yeah. So, and it's all that. So, yeah, and especially the dogs. They love just sitting on the lawn.
And what's your favorite part about the Oval, or favorite feature, if there is one thing? Or I think it'd be
Mine
more
is
than
the
one thing.
tunnel, believe it or not. And I tell you why. You go through the tunnel and you enter. It's like a whole world.
Yeah.
It's like that scene from The Wizard of Oz when she opens the house and she goes out into Munchkin Land. That's what I feel like when I go through the tunnel, coming into the tunnel.
Right now, my latest is behind the recreation center. There's just this, like I said, lawn, little grassy part where I can put out my little mat and book while the dogs chill. So that's my little favorite part right now.
That's really all the questions I have. But like, if you have anything else you wanted to say, maybe I missed, or like,
About the Oval and
yeah,
how.
about the friends groups, or that you want to say that you think is important.
Oh, just that everybody should have, every park, every community should have a friends group. And don't expect for people who just work in your community to see things the same way as you do. So that's the only way your community is going to have a voice.
I think for me, I just want to end off that people don't realize the power that they have living in a community, living anywhere. I keep repeating the words when you sign your lease to the apartment, you're signing it to the community. First thing anyone does when they move into a new location is what neighborhood is in it. They want to see the community first. And we don't always have to follow the rules. The rules are meant to guide us, but when the rules are no longer working and they actually affect our quality of life, then those rules that were created by people, they need to be changed by people as well. So people do have the power to change them for a longer, healthier life for not just our generation, but for the next one.